Hey guys, I hope you're off to a good week so far. I've heard from your teachers that you guys are really getting the hang of this whole live chat thing with the Zoom and Google Hangouts. And I gotta tell you, your teachers are loving it, guys. They are loving it to get to see your faces and talk to you again. And so I really hope that you're enjoying it as much as they are. Hopefully you've been able to use it to talk to your teachers and ask them some questions about your work and really get your lessons taken care of. So this is Bella, and she's not off to such a good week. She had to go at the beginning of the week to the vet and get some teeth pulled, so she is really just extra pitiful. And so she's probably going to be right here in my arms for most of this video, and if it's not her, it'll probably be her brother back here. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just sad because somebody else is getting all his love. That's how it happens sometimes, though. So let's get started with our lesson. This is going to be our first actual lesson because, we had the getting started video and the optional stuff, but lesson. And it's going to be about superpowers. And yeah, superpowers may be kind of a weird thing to have a lesson about, but we're in kind of a weird time. We're at home, we can't go to school, some people can't go to work, we really can't go out and do some fun things, and it's all for a good reason. We're all trying to be safe and make sure the people around us are staying safe, nobody's getting sick, but it can cause a lot of stress for a lot of people. There are people who are upset and anxious and scared and nervous, and that changes how people interact with each other. So what I'd like to ask you is, what superpower, if you could have any superpower right now, what would it be? Now, some of us may have a standard answer to this, like, oh, flight, or I'd want to be invisible. Because we do get asked this question a lot. Oh, what's your favorite superpower? It's a way that we use to connect with other people. You might hear teachers ask it at the beginning of the year, or if you go to a camp, that might be their first question for you. But I want you to take a step back and really think about, right now, in the world I'm living in right now, what superpower would I want? So mine, the superpower that I would want the most right now would be something similar to Violet from The Incredibles. In The Incredibles, Violet has a force field power, and she can kind of project it onto other people, and you don't see a lot of it because she's young, like you guys, and she's really learning how to do things, but I think it has a lot of potential. Now, the reason I chose a force field power is because I could travel in my force field bubble if I needed to go somewhere. If I had a neighbor who needed to get out and get groceries, I could put my neighbor in the force field bubble and we could go get groceries without them taking a chance of getting sick. I just can think of a lot of different ways that having a force field and not actually having to touch things could be really beneficial. Like when you or your parents came to get your iPads, you guys could have just like force field bubbled it, put it in the car and said, thank you, and not have had to touch anything. How cool would that have been? And now, even with force field powers, I think I'd still be washing my hands a ton and still using a lot of hand sanitizer, but it'd be pretty awesome. So right now, take a minute, figure out what your superpower would be if you could have any kind of superpower right now. Okay, kindergarten and first grade. Do you have your superpower picked out? Do you have it locked tight in your head? Perfect. Now we need to find a way for you to show what your superpower would be. We have lots of different choices. You could draw yourself as your superhero. You could record yourself telling me about your powers. You could get your family's help and you could have somebody else hold the iPad and you could record what your superhero would be doing. You could write a story. You could make a comic. There are so many choices. I just need you to pick one and show me all the details of your superpower and what you would be like as a superhero. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with, but you don't have to turn it in. You can keep it all for yourself, or you can take a picture and a video and send them to me. If you want to send them to me, you're going to go to my website, go to my page that says About Me. It's going to have a picture of my face and some facts about me, and at the bottom there are pictures of my puppies. And somewhere in the middle, there's a picture of my mailbox, like the one that's on my classroom door. If you click on that mailbox, it'll pop up my email, and you can send me your pictures and your videos of your project. Then, if you really want to share them, you can write something in the message and say, hey, Miss Lee, I want to share this with everybody. Can you put this on the website? And I'm going to try to put a couple on the website, just like if we were going to hang our art in the halls. Okay, so you have 3 options. You can keep this project all to yourself. You can share it with just me, or you can share it with me and ask me to post it for other classmates to see. Most of all, I want you guys to have fun and create something awesome. Okay guys, so you don't actually have to stay tuned for the whole thing because it's 10 minutes long basically, and I've sped it up by 7. It's just taken forever. But I do want you to at least fast forward to the end and stop in a couple spots if you need some ideas of how to get started. So I told you earlier in the video that my superpower that I would love to have right now would be something like Violet's from The Incredibles, because she has a force field superpower. And I thought that could be really cool to use right now, just because I wouldn't have to touch a lot of things, or I could go with somebody who needed to go to the grocery store and like I could force field stuff into the buggy without ever having to touch it. And I thought that would be pretty cool for what's happening around us right now. So when I was trying to decide what my superhero would look like, I figured, well, I already know a superhero that looks like she has force field powers. Why don't I just start with that? So I pulled up a picture of Violet on my computer, and then I sat down beside the computer and started drawing my version of a Violet. So I just had a picture up where she was actually using her powers so that I could kind of copy that a little bit. And I kept looking back at that, and that's why you'll see me erase a bunch, is because I would do something and I'd look back at the picture and I'm like, no, it needs to be more like this. So I did put a lot of detail into my drawing, but I didn't make it look exactly like her. So right here I started drawing, and in the picture Violet's eyes are blue. Well, my eyes are green, so I wanted green eyes, and my hair is brown, so I got started with my hair. Now if you did my optional video about drawing the unicorn, we talked about drawing and coloring hair. Hair is never all one color, so if you're coloring hair, it's a good idea to get 3, 4, maybe even 5 different shades of the same color. So my hair is different shades of brown. I started with this really nice light brown and colored in almost all of it. You can see there's still a couple white streaks, and that's okay because I'm going to be doing a lot of other colors. Then I started adding in a couple darker streaks here and there, and I was coloring the same direction that my hair would go. Because you're going to see those lines in the drawing, I think it's important to keep coloring the direction your hair would be laying. And I just kept filling in and kept filling in, and at the top of the head it's kind of weird to see which way the hair is going to go, so I just kind of guessed my best. But you can still see there's some white marks. Now I went in with an even darker one and just really lightly started kind of shading over and filling in some of the gaps, and I kept coloring in the same direction. Even when I wasn't making actual lines, I was still coloring in that up and down or side to side direction based on which way the hair should go, because that just kind of helps lay it out. Now I've got a couple of red streaks in my hair, so I went ahead and added some of that. So if you want to take a look at your hair, see what colors are all in your hair, there's definitely way more than just one. Your hair is never just black or just brown or just anything. We got lots of colors. I did the same kind of thing with my skin and with my eyes. It just went really fast. I always started with the lightest color I could find and then got darker from there. Because with my green, I had a nice light in the middle and a darker around. When you use 2 different colors of the same family, you can get a lot of detail with very little work, because you don't have to get really dark in some spots because that color is already darker. So I started with my face, and I found the palest color I could find, and then I found the next one up and added some details on my face with the next one up. I think it was called Sand. And in the actual picture, Violet's gloves and her mask are black. But like I said, I'm not actually making Violet. I'm figuring out and seeing what I would look like as a superhero. So I went for more of a gray, because I was trying to decide what color my suit would be. And though I love the bright red Incredibles suit, I definitely think mine would be a little different. So I thought about some of my favorite colors. My favorite color is teal, But I have a lot of things in my house and in my closet and in my clothes and everything that are teal. So then I thought maybe I should use my second favorite color as the most of it and just use teal for the extra stuff. So I got my second favorite color, which is coral, or that coloring pencil actually calls it salmon, but I don't like the color of a fish. That's silly. So I went ahead and I colored my whole suit with that salmon / coral color. And if you'll look at my circle, I kind of skipped over my hair for a little bit there because I wasn't really sure how I was going to do my force field, because that circle that is around my hand is me having a force field. So I kind of just held on to that for the last minute until I could figure out what my force field was actually going to look like and how that was going to change my color. Now I'm coloring all around my body and not in the center because I kept trying to come up with a logo like what Violet has on hers. She has a big eye for the Incredibles. And I finally decided that I didn't want to waste all of my time on it. I could always come back and add it later. So I went ahead and got started on my other stuff. And there's my favorite color right there, just on all my extra things. On my little belt, like Violet, and on my collar. And I do my headband that color too, which if I had a headband that color, I'd probably wear it all the time because it is definitely one of my favorites. I'm wearing a headband today, but it's not that color. It's got pencils on it. And then right there is where I talked about going back with another color. So that's a little bit darker color. And I put those lines at the top of, hey, shh. Sorry guys, my puppies are barking because they're picking up trash next door. So I put those lines at the top of my face like I was kind of crinkling my nose a little bit. If you look at your face in the mirror when you crinkle, it's not really dark enough to draw it with black lines, but you can definitely see that you need a different color right there. And then I started working on my force field, and I thought, you know, I need to start doing something with my hair. And I went ahead and filled in the hair around it and started working on my force field. Now, when I looked at the picture on the internet that I pulled up of Violet from The Incredibles, I was looking to kind of copy something similar to her force field. And her force field is purple, and she's got some really cool stuff in hers that the people who animated Violet did with some computer design and a lot of years of practice and stuff. So it wasn't something I could really do exactly, which is kind of even better because I want to let you guys know that they're not going to come out perfect or look exactly what the image that you find online looks like, and that's totally okay. So just a little surprise here, guys. I totally messed up. I was going to have my character smiling, and I forgot, and I colored it all red, and so I just had to make them lips instead. And I finally thought of a logo. I'm going to be Super Teacher. So I have a big ST for Super Teacher. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect. That's okay. It's perfectly you, and I love it just like that.